Yeah, I mean, I hope you guys are doing well too, given all of the hecticness that's been going around in the world. That
Oh yeah, it's. I think California's on shutdown now.
What does that
They
mean?
like the only time you're actually able to leave your house is like for essential things, and that's it. Like going to the
Oh,
store, and that's like it.
oh, so that's just a way of people just being like self-quarantined.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, I don't, I don't even want to think about going to the Costco up from my road, like
Oh my God, it's insane. I can't imagine how it is there though.
even in
Like,
yeah, even here in
it,
Hawaii.
yeah, like here it's bad, but I could not imagine how it is like in Hawaii right now. It's got to be insane.
Are you guys like in a really dense city? Because I think the cities are probably being impacted the most by the just by the traffic and everybody rummaging around.
Well, traffic actually hasn't been bad lately. It's just been like I don't know, just buying goods. Can't buy rice, can't buy any sort of noodles whatsoever.
Oh, like even the stock bulk items?
Yeah, like big bulk items are like bought up. It's
Oh my
crazy.
god. And
Traffic hasn't been bad because everyone's in. So
did you see that post? I don't know why I found this meme thread on like Floridians. They went to, and no offense to people in Florida, I don't know how stuff operates there, but like everyone was at the beach partying for spring break.
oh yeah, I saw that.
Was
That's
that
like
was that in
uh,
Florida?
yeah, that was in I think Clearwater.
Oh my gosh, that's so
Clearwater
funny.
was like an hour from where I used to live.
Yeah.
So that was seeing that's not surprising. I'm pretty sure Daytona is just as bad too, with
Oh
spring breakers, because right now it's spring break.
yeah, and it was
Although,
did it
I
get
mean, other
extended?
well, I mean, with colleges being shut down
Yeah.
and only doing online class, probably.
Yeah, because even here, a lot of my younger cousins too, they're like, "Oh, our spring break started early and it's ending later too."
Right? So that's
That's
basically what's been going on is crazy. But yeah, as for the city we're living in, we're living south of San Diego, in a city called Chula Vista,
mm-hmm.
which just means like good view.
Oh, that's nice. But it's
Yeah.
kind of suburban.
Yeah, it's basically like an extension of San Diego, but more like suburbs.
Oh, okay, that
So,
sounds much more pleasant. Like
yeah.
it was so funny. Even me and Blarg, we went down to, I don't know if you heard of this cafe called like in Pearl City over here in Hawaii. If you've been here before when you were here, but it's called Button Up Cafe, and then we
Oh, I
went.
love Button Up. I
Okay,
love Button Up.
yeah, so you know the little hole in the wall, right?
Yeah, it's
Um,
tiny. The
yeah,
parking lot you can't even get into sometimes.
yeah, exactly. So I'm feeling like going to Button Up Cafe because they got a really good French toast there,
Yeah.
and so we went and freaking okay, like I saw some dudes eating outside, and I'm like, why are they doing that? And then we go into the restaurant. All the tables, all the chairs are all pushed to the sides of the restaurant, and
Yeah.
there's a big sign saying like, please wait outside for your food, and like they're only doing takeout orders. So I'm like, wow, that's pretty brutal.
That's how a lot of restaurants are doing it right now too. Is takeout only.
Yeah, even yeah, I really feel for like the small businesses and stuff. They must be really hurting.
Oh yeah, it's gotta suck for them. But I imagine the toilet paper industry and the cleaning products industries are just booming.
God, Charmin Ultra. How's
Oh.
okay, so are you ready? Are you comfy?
Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, I got my, as per usual, I always make some nice hot tea and get my throat all warmed up and stuff. So if you want to get a beverage or anything, that's totally cool.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
gonna get some water, some agua.
Yeah. Stay hydrated.
Of course.
Got to keep that immune system strong. So,
What's up,
you
babe?
know,
Wait, what's up? Say it to my face,
He says, as somebody else is doing it for him.
babe.
oh, hi there.
Yeah, that's my husband. That's Matt or Finn.
Hi, Fan. I
He
says
says
hello.
he says hi back.
Yay. Hope you guys are both doing well. Um, yeah, wait, what's this living situation for you guys? Just you and your bae?
So we're living with a roommate currently.
Okay.
The roommate is in the Navy as well. We actually went to school together
Oh, nice.
while we were in Mississippi. So we just end up going to the same exact commands. They're like, hey, let's just be roommates.
Oh, that works out. Nice.
And they were roommates.
And then we're roommates. Oh my god. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Oh, but not just a cool guy, not a furry necessarily.
No, she's not a furry.
Oh, she. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so hey guys, welcome to TreeBark episode number 10. Oh, I'm so happy we finally hit double digits, and I just kind of want to preface this a little bit because there was a brief hiatus, and I'm trying to get the ball rolling back, you guys. Because just with all the hecticness and everything that everybody's going through, I kind of feel like a broken record, but yeah, it just got a little overwhelming with the personal agenda happening, my work cutting my schedule, just a whole lot of shenanigans. But I'm trying to get the ball rolling again, and I'm really happy to start episode 10, double digits, with one of my old time buddies, Lewis the Demon. And hey, Lewis, how are you doing, given everything?
I'm doing excellent as everything that's been going on. So yeah, it's just been crazy.
How has things been with like work and everything? Has your guys' schedule actually changed, or have you guys been cutting hours? How's that been operating?
So we kind of went to a modified work schedule where I'm at. Just a preface, I'm in the military, as some people might know. Not a lot of people do know, but I'm still in training for my current job, and so they decided to cut all the people who are still in training down to working minimal hours to try to prevent the spread of the Corvid or whatever it's called, Corona.
Yeah,
So,
I was even wondering about that too, because even Blarg, he just got back from his work travel, and now they're doing like a 2-week self quarantine session. Have you guys had to do that recently?
no, we don't. They're having us do that unless we're actually sick.
Okay.
What they're having us do now, like I said, is the modified work schedule where we're working less hours and on fewer days to try to
Yeah.
prevent spread.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the most reasonable thing to do, because everyone seems like they're kind of on the fence of like, hey, even if you're slightly sick or if you have a fever, just stay home. Just across the board, just like don't risk anything. And
Yeah.
what I was talking about with a lot of people too is like, what do you think is going to happen with like the ripple effects? Like, you see China actually doing a little well right now due to, like, I've seen some articles and reports saying they haven't reported any new cases actually, and they've kind of sustained things pretty well. But you're seeing all of the other countries that are getting the ripple effects of dealing with this kind of clown show right now.
Yeah, it's right now obviously Italy's being hit pretty hard, but I don't know. It's one of those things where unless things change across the board for every country, it's just going to continue to get worse. I don't think we've hit the max curve or whatever they want to call it.
Of
The
infection
index.
rate, or what's that?
Probably infection and in death rate. I think it's gonna get a little worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
Um, I
What
mean,
else?
they're seeing the vaccines are coming out or trying to come out or whatnot. So I don't know. It just depends on what's actually gonna happen.
Yeah, and a lot of experts, just to kind of talk a little more to the subject, were saying that like this is not just some blizzard that's gonna come and go. It's a winter season, and for like the next couple of weeks, the next month, or even year, people are gonna be working really hard. Doctors are gonna be treating a lot of people that really need help. They're understaffed, and they're gonna be working on vaccines, and going through a lot of like very scrutinous trials. So for those really like wondering about, when we're gonna get a handle on this, just from what I've seen, because I've been trying to keep a nice finger to the pulse of this thing, um, it's I
It's
don't
gonna
know
be a
why.
while.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a while, and it's so touchy because you don't ever want to spread misinformation, because that could be even deadlier, to be totally honest.
Right,
Um,
exactly.
yeah,
And even hiding things is horrible. I don't want to definitively say that. I know that certain countries could be hiding the fact that their infection rate was worse or their death rate were worse. But I mean, I've heard the stories, and most people have heard the stories.
Yeah,
Especially
because
with the rates I think in Wuhan were just
yes.
absolutely incredible before like they even started getting a handle on it.
Yeah, because even sugarcoating to make people more ease, I was even told at my workplace that's not helpful. If you want to try and be as helpful as you can, you just got to maintain transparency.
Right, and if you tell people, hey, this what's going on is really bad, but we're trying to handle it, that would honestly make people probably feel a little bit better. And then
Yeah.
you can like actually get the ball rolling
Like
and
say,
even like get stuff like cleared up as soon as possible.
yeah, like this is serious, but you know what?
Yeah.
We're gonna do practice and get through it. That's that's
Yeah.
yeah, that's the best we can do.
Right.
Just seeing different reports from like Trump and everything was just like, oh my gosh, it's just such a clown
Oh,
show.
yeah.
And then you can watch like a whole lot of, we were watching last night, me and Blarg, a whole bunch of like compilations and stuff of like Trump. This guy compiled a whole different citing from his speeches over the month of like
Yeah.
last month about the issue, and he says it's not a big deal, not a big deal. And as the weeks go on, he doesn't take responsibility. He was saying, and I'm like, that's not the point. You don't have to take responsibility for it. You just have to act on it.
Right.
But anyway,
I can't personally say too much on the issue, but
yeah,
especially with him being our commander in chief, so
yeah,
I
just
can't really say much. But I get it, and certain things were a little interesting.
yeah. So it's a good, like, even a really funny thing was like, oh, I'm glad at least it started off with a pandemic that wasn't like, oh, 50% chance of death rate or something like that.
Right, right. It's only like really bad if you have a very weak immune system.
Yeah, something,
Which,
if something's
which
compromised about you, yeah.
right, and that at least that's not super horrible. But yeah, I think most people are very thankful that the rates at which it's been happening
Mm-hmm.
is lower than what it could have been. But I don't want to say much because I personally don't know much on this. I just look at clouds
What?
for my job.
Oh yeah, just cause you're a weatherman.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, as long as we see clear skies, that's all I care about at this point. Cause everything else has just been cray cray.
Right.
And seeing all of the cancellations is just crazy. Like, one of the things that I've been looking forward to, not to
Oh
be too salty
gosh.
about the topic, was just constant cancellation from a lot of like game companies canceling all of their E3s. Their Apple canceled some of their conventions, and now we're on to the FurCons. Actually, one of the things that's like really
Right.
helpful for us is to like meet our longtime friends and everything. Seeing those events canceled was just like such a, like, that was the last nail in the coffin for me.
Yeah,
Um,
seeing them get canceled or rescheduled to later in the year, which sucks, but hey.
yeah, I was
As
super. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, as long as BLFC still goes on, I mean, it's gonna be absolutely packed. But if I
Yes,
can go, I'm definitely going because it's
because
just me.
that's a good point. Because I think it's gonna be actually more attendees this year, given that a whole lot of other cons, and I do respect every single con for being very responsible by even canceling or pushing back the date. But at
Right.
least BLFC for this year is still happening this year, so maybe we're gonna see a migration from all the other canceled cons come to BLFC.
Oh God, that's gonna be insane.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guarantee that every hotel around the Grand Sierra is gonna be booked up.
Yep. Even we our party with Damon and the group
Hmm.
that we're gonna be in, we had 2 rooms booked for the GSR.
Right.
But what we had to deal with, though, with the whole cancellation and moving of the dates, was book 1 room at the hotel, and then we have to split our party to another hotel outside of the GSR. So
Oof.
I'm waiting on updates for that, and we're gonna see if we can still kind of finagle things to get back together. But how have you guys been dealing with the situation and rescheduling of events?
We haven't really set anything in stone,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm in a position where once I get more qualified in my job, I could just end up going out to sea for a little bit, and
Yeah.
depending on how long I'm out, either I'll be able to go or I just won't. So we've kind of been just keeping it up in the air and just trying to be more fluid with it, which
Yeah.
sucks, but it's just how it is.
Yeah, nothing's really set in stone, sadly, because even when all of this like kind of quarantine stuff kind of blows over, well,
Oh yeah.
what happens when everyone goes back to the mix and everything starts touching um,
Oh yeah.
and then you get new cases and we still don't have the vaccine. That's just gonna be kind of scary.
I mean, by October, what, it's March. By October, there should be a vaccine out,
Okay.
guaranteed.
Okay.
And
That.
I have a wholehearted feeling that by then there will be a vaccine out in rotation to where people can actually
Yeah.
go and just get the vaccine, kind of like just a flu shot.
I even heard with the seasons too changing. When it gets warmer, it's just a little harder for the virus to survive on surfaces and whatnot.
Right, because viruses need a set temperature range to even like incubate,
Yeah.
and if it gets hotter than that, they'll just die.
So
Which is why your body goes into a fever, because it's trying to kill the virus.
yeah,
That's the whole
exactly.
reason why fevers even happen, is to kill it so it can't incubate.
So I guess kind of stepping back now, kind of from the whole
Right,
top
because we're going into a very serious
topical
topic.
stuff. Yeah. I really wanted to talk about you and like share your perspective and everything on how you got into the fandom. Because as I know it, were you in the fandom when I met you like a couple of years ago when you were in the
Um,
local chat?
so I've been part of the fandom for almost, I'm gonna say like 10 years.
Oh
But
wow.
I've only been active in the fandom for the past like 5 or 6 years. So what that means is like actually interacting with other furries, because I actually didn't know how to do this until I got to Hawaii, and when our friend Coda actually
Kodamu.
introduced me, yeah, Kodamu, who
Yeah.
actually introduced me to Telegram, and then after that was when I actually started getting more active and actually like going to cons, talking to people, commissioning art, stuff like that.
Was it what was before then? So for that half earlier part of the decade then that you said of the 10 years in the fandom, was it mostly through FA or what were you using at the time?
This is gonna be really weird to say, but I was using iFunny.
What is iFunny?
iFunny was a meme sharing app that was on the iPhone and on Android for the longest time. It fluctuates between going on and off the App Store. Um,
Oh. Was
yeah,
that
it's like it's there's not really community there. It's honestly just an imaging sharing thing, kind of like if like Reddit, 4chan, and like Facebook all kind of just threw themselves together
Oh, so
and created this.
not necessarily like a social networking app, but it was more like just a thread that you could follow and stuff.
Yeah, kind of. And in parts of it, like they would have like, the featured memes of like the day, and you'd go check it and be like, oh, cool, whatever. And then in another part of it, there was like the things that didn't quite make the featured
Mhm.
list,
The front
and
page
they're
or
just,
something.
yeah, they didn't make the front page. They're just random posts, reposts, um, whatever.
Oh
And you could
man.
actually search for certain tags. And I remember I was browsing one day and I saw this really cute artwork of this Tumblr thread that this person did,
Mhm.
where people would ask the artist what certain things they liked, certain things they did, and whatnot. And I was like, oh wow, this is really cute. What is this? And I searched the tags on it, and it said furry. And I was like, okay, I've heard this term before, because I've seen like the CSI episode where like
Oh my gosh.
I saw that episode. I heard my parents talk about furries and say, oh, be wary of those people. They're weird and all that. And I was like, I don't know what that is, but okay.
Like it's some kind of kink culture or something.
Yeah, that's just what a lot of people thought it was, which is why I didn't look into it
Uh-huh.
until I saw this like this ask. It was Ask Tuller. So Tuller Arts. He's like a Bara artist,
Oh nice.
and he and I saw this. I was like, oh, this is really cute. I really like this. And then that's basically me getting into the fandom, was through that, and then me checking the different threads of people throwing out the hashtags and all that. I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, like
um
even through Vine, that reminds me, like I was just going through random homepage stuff And then I saw a couple of fursuiters actually like playing this tambourine or something. I was like, oh, that's really cute. And then yeah, I saw the tags and it was furry, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna follow this tag.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny how we both have a very similar, like, introduction story, something completely other than the
When
norm.
when you so coming from the online world, then when you I guess you were stationed here in Hawaii then actually, yeah?
Yes, I was stationed in Hawaii for about like 8 or 9 months. And all this time I've actually was using like I was using Twitter to like, check up on fursuiters, check up on art, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Didn't really interact with people because I didn't really know how.
Mhm.
I didn't really like have any reason to. I didn't know how to like set up a PayPal. I didn't know how to do any of like the normal stuff to even like commission people.
Yeah.
Until I started talking to Coda Moot, and then from there, that's whenever I started talking to people and actually interacting. So
And he kind of became the glue for you to get to know everybody. And
yeah,
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 it
it
is
was
this that is around the same time where I met you, him, and a bunch of actually the locals. So I gotta thank Coda for that. Thank you, Coda.
yeah, yeah. I
And
really had a lot to thank him for. So
and even for so coming from the online world and then going to the local meets, because that's something that I was actually trying to get more into as well, similar to
mhm,
you. So I was finding old Facebook chats and stuff, but I didn't see people active in them. And
right,
then I found the local fur chat, the 808 chat, and
yeah,
I'm like, oh, they have a bowling meeting, and the bowling meeting was 2 years ago. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
nobody's nobody's been updating this. But then I did find through a vine of a local fur, Toshi, if you remember Toshi.
Oh my God,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so I was like, oh, Toshi Fox, who's that? And then he did one of these. It was an old trend on Vine before where you do like a selfie video of yourself, and then you're
Hmm.
kind of just idling, and then when the music starts and it drops, you put your hand on the camera, and then it flashes to you in suit. And I was like, oh, that's so cute.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so as it turns out, Toshi was the admin for a Telegram chat. And I'm like, what the heck is Telegram? So that's what led us to like actually engaging with people, local people. What
Yeah.
was some of your experience or earliest meetups with the local furs here? I'm really curious.
I the earliest one that I can remember was it was when oh gosh,
Was
oh
that
shoot, I forgot.
BioGods?
BioGods, yeah. It
Yeah,
was when
he's another
uh
creator, yeah.
yeah, it was when BioGods actually came to do like a fur, like a a video shoot. And
Cause
since I didn't have a it was like him Furries in Hawaii video shoot that he did like 3 years back. I'm actually listed as one of the people who I was doing the filming for it because
oh
I didn't have a
nice.
suit. So, but little fun story, he misspelled my name.
Oh, why? What do you go by under there? Or
um, he put Lewis, but spelled Lewis not the way I spelt it. So
L
I
O
spelled
U
L O
I
U
S?
I S, and I think
Yeah.
he spelled Lowis or something.
Lewis.
Yeah, yeah, it was very slightly off, and I just noticed it. And I was like, "Oh, that's funny."
Actually, if I
But
do recall, isn't BioGods one of his contacts here Gear Senshi?
yeah,
So did you meet Gear before that actually?
no, that was actually the day that I met Gear as well.
Oh, okay. Because as you know, like he does also commission a ton of art, and it's so funny. I seen
Yeah,
Gear before I met Gear.
I did that too. I would see like art of him, obviously, porn or whatever, and
Yeah.
I would just see it. And I was like, okay, cool. This person's just. I didn't really know what his persona was at the time. But I was like, oh, cool. It's just a gray dog with a gear. Neat. And I would think, oh, this art looks good or whatnot, and just carry on from there. But
Hmm.
yeah, I would see art of him, didn't know who he was, and then I met him.
Was the so like what was your kind of first impression for you? Like when you went to your first fur meet and seeing all the local people here, at least what was the intonation like, "Oh, that was a really good experience. I'm going to do it again," or it was like, "Oh, I don't know if I like this," or
Oh, I had a blast. Um, this is also when oh gosh, I think his name was Ironhooves or something like that. He
Mm-hmm.
was in the 808 chat for a while, um, and then he left after he moved. Um, he after we did the whole like furries in Hawaii meetup, and like video shoot where they would like get in suit and walk down Waikiki Beach
Mm-hmm.
over by, it was by one of the hotels that's for the military. I forgot what it was called. Um, we went to the beach park, walked around, whatever.
Yeah.
Had like luck, and then we went back to Iron's house, his apartment that was in downtown Waikiki, and like had a little party get together where we kind of
Actually,
did a duct tape dummy for Coda.
I think
That's it.
I think I remember this. Was this the Brony actually?
Yes, him.
And then the apartment complex caught on fire. not not the same day, but it was actually reported later. I think shortly after he moved or sometime when he lived there. There's like two buildings, and I think his was the west wing, and then one of the complexes above him bursted into flames.
Holy shit! I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about the apartment like buildings like catching on fire because I was working that day.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that was probably it actually.
Yeah, I
But
don't remember it specifically being his because I don't remember which apartment like building his was. But
yeah.
I do remember hearing about apartments catching on fire and thinking that was just the craziest shit because they didn't have like I don't think their fire systems were up to date, and they haven't been up to date since like the 70s.
Yeah. How is so when you're getting to know people at the events and stuff, like what was the kind of like feeling? For me it was I honestly felt like in my adult life now, I got along with way more people who kind of like understood me or like had the same interests as me, even though like furry wasn't necessarily a thing I was like super already invested in. It was just kind of this thing that I was like, oh, I kind of want to look more into it. But then as I got more into it, a lot more people like memes like me. They like video games like me. They like all these other different things.
Yeah, that's actually pretty much been my experience with it. Is just, I mean, I get along with almost anyone, but I seem to, when I go to these events, I seem to like get along better with people that, I mean, I can actually talk to about certain things, whether or not it's furry or art or if it's music or whatever. It's just one of those things where it's easier to connect to someone if you have like something to actually connect on,
Yeah,
and it
that's
could be
true.
something as simple as just being furries.
That's
Like, oh hey, what's your fursona? Cool. I have this fursona.
I'm
Sweet.
gonna I'm gonna go on a little rant here, but I'm gonna do a little call outs to people who like do the random like okay no, but it's funny that you say exactly that where you have this thing already in common and you want to talk about somebody's sona or something like that, and you'll get the occasional random DM where it's just hi or it's just
Oh
colon
gosh.
3, and then you're like you have so much to talk about or say something, and then it's really hard for people to kind of start that conversation. So I sometimes will say something and then it just kind of goes off in the universe, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. Like
How do you
just
handle
people.
those?
I honestly sometimes I like try to start the conversation. If it goes nowhere, I just drop it. Otherwise, I just ignore it sometimes.
Fair enough.
It's really sad to say that sometimes I'll just ignore someone, but like sometimes that's all that you can do. Whenever like you're like, hey, you're trying to start a conversation, but it's going nowhere. What do you want to do with this? And
Yeah.
if they don't respond, then just find something else to go do, I guess.
And that's funny because like even when I first met you too at some of the meets and everything, it never seemed like you were shy or like anybody was like kind of too afraid to talk or like do something together. And I think that's why we vibed really well. Talked about memes and everything, and then like we hung
Oh
out at Blargs a
yeah,
lot, and just doing all
yeah.
those things like playing games, having D&D nights. I think that's what really like solidified like, hey, this furry thing is not a phase.
Right. Yeah. It's. I'm just trying to think. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I used to be a very, very, very shy and closed off person because I didn't really know how to talk to people or what to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of this, like a lot of me joining the fandom actually helped me come out of my shell just a little bit more.
Actually, yeah, I do want to speak to that too, because even I remember the time, I was actually more concerned about like things like my sexuality and like, oh God, like okay, I'm in the fandom and I notice it's very heavily LGBTQ, and it's like I don't know how to really like traverse this. But then I had a lot of good friends like you guys who were very comfortable with themselves, who have gone through this before I have. So I'm very appreciative of that. That was a really
Yeah,
interesting time.
I mean, honestly, a lot of the fandom is just, just getting to know yourself, even if it's like through, um, you know, uh, through something that's not really even really truly 100% you. I mean, obviously, no one's a wolf, like
On all
obviously.
levels except physical, I am a wolf. I'm actually a
uh,
trigender pyrofox. I don't know what you're talking about.
I, and it allows people to kind of create this persona for themselves. Obviously, persona. It allows them to create this persona for themselves, and through that, you can actually learn a whole lot. And I learned a lot about myself through the fandom too. Like
Yeah.
I learned a lot about my own sexuality, myself, because of the fandom,
Did
and it's
did
been
you
great.
think like in your regular career, cuz I know like a lot of my friends who are military now who, go back and forth through Hawaii and go to all these other different spots where they're stationed.
Hmm.
Um what is that kind of, I don't really know what that environment's like. So when you're at work, do you guys only have work friends, or do you have friends within only the military, or like does the furry world kind of blend sometimes? How does that work for you?
I definitely say it blends sometimes. I've met a lot of furs who are also military. I mean, Coda actually worked with.
Yeah.
Um, I worked at the same place as him, so obviously I was able to create a really good friendship with him. Excuse me. But one of the things that I notice is I definitely have work friends, and we talk about whatever. And
Yeah.
then a lot of stuff I just won't even like mention because not everyone needs to know that I play online as a demon sheep that can transform into currently a Japanese badger.
Yeah, is that a new Sona too for you, or what's the deal there? That's new to
Um,
me.
so really, it's just another form, a version.
Oh,
Like, cause
okay.
I've always wanted my persona to be able to transform into other animals. I didn't want to be like, oh, my persona is a husky and will only ever be a husky. I didn't want to limit myself,
Oh,
like even
okay.
on an artistic standpoint, because I actually originally created my character to actually be in a comic that
Yeah.
I was going to create, but like my art skills aren't up to that level,
I
so
still
I
have
never
one of your
wanted.
original.
Yeah.
I still have an original Theo drawing, actually, of my first cat Sona.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Yeah, whenever your persona was a snow leopard.
Yeah, and you drew him the little eye patch. I still have that. Thank you. That was
I forgot
legitimately some of my
that.
first art, and I remember for your demon character, that Sona was my first ref sheet that I ever worked on, starting as a furry artist. So
And you were the first furry I've ever commissioned, so it's a whole lot of firsts.
a lot of cherries.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
But
yeah, and I still absolutely adore the ref sheet and everything that you were able to do for it. You
dude,
nailed
you've been
everything.
getting so much cute art. And then even your icon's really cute. He goes blep.
Oh yeah, I got that ages ago.
Oh,
I got that. Oh my gosh, almost 3 years ago.
what's the what's kind of the commit? So like you mentioned before that you weren't really open and stuff, and then you got into commissioning. Even I was so honored to be one of your first artists to commission. So like, how have you handled it since then? Are you
It's one of those. It's just another like I don't know. It's like it's hard to describe because sometimes it's one of those things where I'm kind of selective sometimes when it comes to commissioning.
Yeah, you can have a taste. I think that's totally fine. Some furries will be like they're supportive no matter what, and others are like I only like a certain style, and I think that's all fine.
Yeah. But nowadays it's just like it's easy because there's no nervousness to talk to someone and be like, "Hey, I really like your style. Would you be willing to draw this?" Or even just going to an artist that has like the your character here things, not
Yeah.
the $6,000 ones, but
Mm.
the more affordable priced ones.
I
Even
was,
just going to them since they already have like the template set up. Like, all right, well, I kind of wanted something like this. You have it already set up. Just fill in the colors and lines, and you'll be good.
yeah.
And at that point, it's just super easy
How
too.
often have you done how often have you done YCHs compared to like making an idea or making like sort of like using the artist to say like, hey, can you bring this idea to life? Do you do that more often? Because I notice like a lot of people they like seeing the YCHs because it depicts already something that they like.
Right. I think it's for me. It's like 60/40. So
Okay.
60% some of the times. It also just depends on my mood and how well I like the artist's style.
Yeah.
Kind of with like commissioning, anyways. But um, a lot of the time, it's about 60% YCH, and then 40% actually commissioning the artist with an idea already in mind. That's the hardest part, is having an idea in mind all ready to go.
Yeah, and I gotta say, like doing this now for like 3 years. Oh my gosh, ongoing 3 years already.
Hmm.
Having somebody who even doodles something like with stick figures or something to say like, hey, I want kind of this placement here and everything to give to your artist is so helpful.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yep.
I can sometimes get a little too in detail with like exactly what I want, and
But
then
I remember with making your Sona though, like you had a whole itemized list of all of the piercings, all of the different features, all of the specific colors, facial hair, beard, and yeah, it was really helpful.
that was one of those things where I kind of had the idea. I mean, I've had the idea for Lewis's demon, like the ram.
Mm-hmm.
I've had that since I was in the fandom.
Oh
So
wow,
I've had
okay.
that idea brewing for about 10, like not 10, but 5 years at that point.
Where does the whole kind of like demon kind of like pentagram style kind of vibe come in? Where does that stem for you?
That stemmed from kind of my like of heavy metal and death metal.
Oh,
A lot of
okay.
a lot of the visualistics of it, and also kind of my love of horror. I don't like watching horror, but I love the aesthetic.
Is that kind of
Do
like
you?
the gore kind of like is that like kind of bloody or like brutal kind of nature of it?
Not really bloody brutal. I'm not even really super into gore. It's just like I wanted something to kind of look scary, quote unquote,
Mm.
but also be able to look cute as hell. That was my whole idea, was for this character to flip between looking like, oh god, he's gonna kill me, to, oh god, he's just hugging me really hard,
He's
please
gonna
tell me to
smother
stop.
me.
Yeah.
I want to die in the floof. Cause I'm thick.
Yeah, so that was kind of my idea for it,
Yeah.
was to actually be able to hit this appeal of both cute and scary, quote unquote. Not really scary. I think the scariest part of my persona is the fact that I have 5 eyes.
Yeah, that threw me off to begin with because you have, let's see, you have two regular eyes and then you have two eyes, one for each horn actually, but you have four horns, don't you?
No, I have
Um,
2.
no, what
Well,
are the?
actually, yeah, I have 4. I have 4. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
So on the two main large ones though, that are the ram-like ones, you have two eyes,
Mhm.
and then you have one eye, I believe, on your tail, right?
That is correct.
What's the reasoning behind that actually?
I kind of wanted something interesting, something different, because a lot of people will, I mean, when it comes to demons, I wanted something that kind of stick out,
Yeah.
other than, the aesthetic of just having horns. Because a lot of people,
That's
what they'll
super
do is
popular. Yeah.
they'll just have the curved horns and a red character and be like, yep, he's a demon.
That's fair.
Um,
Yeah.
I wanted something like that, and then also again from the idea of my character coming from a comic, um, I created this whole backstory. It's kind of like when I was 13, edgy as hell.
Hell yeah. I'm deep in brooding.
Yeah, basically that's what I was going for, and
Mm-hmm.
I kind of stuck with it because I thought it would be something just really cool.
I
And
even
obviously it allows for artists, I said that really weird, but it allows for artists to do very interesting things with my character, and like certain things, like certain commissions I've had my character getting absolutely just fucked silly, and like
nice.
they put ahagao eyes for like the horns.
Oh, actually, that's
And
true because you can make different emotions too with the eyes. That's a good thing. Yeah.
exactly, I wanted another way of emoting my character without having them to use facial expressions.
Actually, yeah, eyes are a really big part of emoting. Like I think I've seen some of yours too, where like it's some cute art and the eyes are even anime eyes on your ram horns. I was like, oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, that's another thing that I just really liked. Plus, I think eyes in general are kind of just a cool thing. They just look cool, and I just wanted to like have a bunch of them, I guess.
The so for I even remember there was this one commission too. Like speaking of like being into heavy metal, you made like the dankest request that I think I've ever done, where you're by these trash bins and then one's marked recycle and then the other one's just called heavy metal or something, or no, it's just metal or something, and it's you doing like the rocker sign in the bin.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
knew
god.
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
that was that was a commission I've been wanting for so long, and then as soon as I saw that you opened up for, I think it was a pay what you want commission,
Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna get this fucking meme done. So I just really wanted to have like, um, it stemmed from this picture of this dude that looked like he just came from a Slayer concert, like
Oh nice.
standing in a recycling bin that just said like metal, and him doing again devil horns with his fingers sticking out his tongue, looking like he was rocking out, and I was like, this looks awesome.
Oh, so you need like your own cover art of the meme.
Yeah, yeah, like the draw over things that people do. That was the whole idea of what I wanted, and you
Gosh.
got it perfectly. So
Oh, thank you. Even so, how has that kind of gone over then over the years? Are you still? I don't know. Like, I haven't seen your art in a long time, actually.
I
Do you
haven't
still get a
posted a
lot of
lot.
Mimi art? Oh,
Um, Not as much as I used to. I really want to get some more. Like there's this one of this little girl just like doing like a Slav squat in the middle of this aisle,
oh
like
God,
in a store, and
is
in front of it, it just says "fight me," and I
is that
really want to get
the?
something like that.
Oh, that's provocative. Is that
Yeah,
is that like the Russian squat with the
yeah,
Adidas?
yeah. Basically, she's basically doing that, throwing up like two like again devil horn like finger signs, like almost looking like she's doing the weird Yoshikage Kira pose from JoJo.
Oh my
Like,
God, I love it.
and she's basically doing that pose squatted down, and in front of her it says "Fight me," and I just have always wanted to get that commissioned, and I still haven't done it yet.
God, you gotta send it to me. I might want to do a little of that as a warm up later.
I could actually send it to you right now. I actually have a folder of photos I save called art memes,
Oh
and
God, okay, I need that
they're
folder.
it's just different pictures of memes that I just really want to get eventually like drawn.
That's a good idea. At least you have a backup of ideas already set.
Yeah, I used to have a whole bucket list of like a private folder as well of like different poses that I want of like different things I would commission like porn wise.
Speaking of like Mimi things, I was just curious. Are you big on like Nintendo or Animal Crossing,
Oh,
or maybe your husband? I'm not sure.
my husband is actually playing Animal Crossing right now,
Oh my
or
God,
he's looking
yes.
for QR codes for like different scan in things. But I've actually never played Animal Crossing in my life until today,
How do you
and I
like
love
it?
it.
Oh,
I
okay.
adore it.
Yeah,
All
it's
the all the chubby characters just make me super happy.
my first villager. When you first fly into the island, the deserted
Mhm.
island, I was greeted by this bull, and he's a bull with stubble, and then his catchphrase is just saying stubble at the end of the things, and his name is Coach,
Uh,
and he's super jockey, and he's super into working out, and he talks about having sore muscles all the time.
Oh no.
Big mood.
Oh, big mood. I love it. Right now our island has like a cat. Her name's Cat. She's kind of like
Oh, that's my second character too. Is the cat wearing like a jacket with a gold pendant?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we got this. Oh, okay, cool. We got the same character.
Yeah, she's like super into art, not art, but like into other stuff. She's just been like really cool. And then his other character is this lion character that's super into working out as well. And he's kind of
Dang.
like he's kind of wearing only just like a bathrobe. And it's like, oh, okay,
Hot.
we're doing that now.
It's that kind of animal party.
I know. It's kind of crazy. I've kind of been closed off to like games like this because I didn't really have any systems that could play it,
What's
and I
your
didn't
main
know that they
genre?
existed. Um, I used to play a lot of first-person shooters. Like I was really, really big into Call of Duty for the longest time.
Sounds like my middle school days.
Yeah, that was my middle school and high school days, and then I got really into MOBAs, but not like League of Legends. I
Dota?
played Dota
Yeah.
a lot. And then I got really bored of it because I got kind of tired of not being able to like really control my character. Like you
Mm.
can do so much, and it's more reactionary when it comes to like clicking. Like, okay, I gotta be ready to go to do whatever.
Yeah, it
And
is.
then
It is an RTS kind of thing. Yeah.
I got really big into Smite, and I still play Smite.
Does Smite play like League though?
On a fundamental standpoint, kind of. It's all skill shot based like League. You have like the same amount of abilities like League.
Yeah.
The major difference is that it's like third person and you're able to like actually control your character, like and walk around and not like have to click.
Oh, I see. So you're
So
using the using the was it WSAD and stuff.
yeah,
Or
you're using WSAD to walk around and actually able to position yourself, and
oh,
it feels like you have more control with this. And obviously you kind of do because you're able to
the
exactly.
directions. Yeah,
Yep.
the directional input. Oh, that's really interesting. I wonder if I should give that a try. Actually, is that on PC or console, or both?
Both actually. It's on both actually. So,
Oh, nice.
it's free. Um, really, the only thing that I would actually suggest buying is if you actually really get into it is the God Pack, which is like I think $30 still.
Okay, that's like the price
Um,
of a game.
yeah. And you get all the gods that they currently have, as well as any gods that are going to come out in the future.
Mm.
And they're
Oh,
up to I
nice.
think like 102 or 3 right now. And the game's been out for I think it's been out for like 6 years now.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
remember.
So it's kind of like Fortnite. Like they'll always like have new content and stuff, and they're gonna kind of keep it current.
Yeah, they're gonna keep it current. I I haven't played it in a while. But they try updating it and keeping it up to date or whatever. But I don't know.
At
Yeah,
least for
it's kind of
video
fun.
games. Yeah.
Yeah, at least for video games. And then pretty much other games I'll play like is just anything that my husband has because he has a lot of games.
Is he big
Um,
in Nintendo too?
yeah, he is.
I gotta meet him. I met him once at VLFC when we first were registering, but I didn't see you guys after that.
Yes. Yeah, we kind of went off and did our own thing after that, and really didn't see a whole lot of people
How does that?
afterwards.
How does the whole like kind of con scene? I'm always curious how people handle different cons, because when I went there for the first time, well, BLFC was admittedly my first con.
Hmm.
Going
Mine
there,
too.
yeah, like so for your first experience, like, did you have like any kind of agenda, or how did you handle like going to panels, or what was your schedule kind of like?
I didn't really have a schedule when I first got to the con because I didn't really know a whole lot of people or what to do.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff I did was I would go to panels and then I'd go hang out with people I knew.
I think
Um,
that's probably the smartest way to go about it, because I had sort of an agenda and none of it happened.
yeah, and then this last con I didn't have anything planned. I just did whatever we felt kind of like doing, and it was actually really great.
Oh, what was
I
that
really,
con?
it was BLFC as well. I've
Oh,
only ever been to BLFC, and I've only been to two.
Wait,
cons.
what was the? Did you go to BLFC 2018 and 19?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I went to 2019, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that.
Oh, nice. Was that with Riker and a bunch of the other local furs in
I think.
2018?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, snap.
I actually
Okay.
did room with Blarg, which is funny.
Oh. Dang. Okay.
Yeah, we ended up rooming together with one other person. I think their name's Winter, but not like the Winter that lived with us for a while. It was a different Winter.
Oh no, that was probably a Winter Circle. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. He still hangs out and play video games with Blarg these days.
yeah.
So for like the future of cons, like given all of the hecticness, do you still plan on going to BLFC though in October?
If I can, I'd love to, cause well, the timing is gonna be actually the anniversary of our wedding.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
so if we're able to go, we're gonna go, and we're gonna kind of like have our anniversary at the same time.
That would be wonderful. Oh my gosh, I have to get you guys
Yeah,
something.
and that's if we're even gonna be able to go. I really hope we are. I don't want to put out the energy that like, oh, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Oh, okay, just
I absolutely want to go.
okay.
And if we can, it's gonna happen. And then also it's kind of like gonna commemorate like us meeting because we met at BLFC a few years ago,
Okay.
and and kind of just it's been great ever since. So,
Was it just love at first sight, or how was how did it go over? How did you guys
uh,
meet?
we actually met through Telegram.
Oh, and then you guys actually
Yeah,
got to meet up at BLSC in
yeah,
person.
we were talking. But we'd known each other for 4 years.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
something like that. So it was around the same time that like I actually got into Telegram is when we met, and then we kind of just we were really close friends for a while, and then we kind of just decided to make this a thing, make us a thing,
If I may
and it worked
ask,
out.
if I may ask though, is this a little related to like the pup community?
No,
Oh,
no, it's
actually,
not.
okay. Because that's something that I did want to ask you about if you're okay with talking about that thing.
Oh, of course,
That
yeah.
kind of community because I'm a super big fan of the gear of like the pup
Oh, yeah.
hoods and the different kinds of straps and stuff. And I think that's like a really cool aesthetic. I
Yeah,
personally don't consider myself a pup, but I remember you had a hood and I had a hood, and then we'd take pictures and stuff. But
yeah, I still do some pup stuff every now and then, but I actually got into the pup fandom, pup play
mhm.
through the furry fandom.
What was the
It was
introduction like?
Twitter. I just saw people dressed up in pup hoods, and I thought it was really cute, and I was like, wow, I've never even heard or seen of this, and I didn't think it was a thing, and then I was like, oh wow, this is just really cool, and then I kind of just really fell into it, and I've still been doing it.
Was there like different was there like Telegram channels dedicated to pup play or something, or how did you
There
get
is.
into like connecting with other quote unquote pups? I
Um,
assume that's what you identify as.
I guess you can say that. But yeah, there's Telegram chats. There's tons of them actually. There's regional Telegram chats. They have these things called pups and handlers. Um,
Can you explain that dynamic? I'm really interested.
sure.
Yeah,
So,
like just take me as a person who knows nothing about the whole culture of that. What is like the basics, or what is the handler?
okay. So in pup play, there's the handler, which is the dominant, and then there's the pup, which is generally going to be the submissive. There's different versions of pups, but that's gonna probably be a little too in depth because there would be alphas, betas, and omegas, kind of like how people describe wolves.
Mm.
Where the alpha would be the more dominant of the pups, the beta would be the less, and then the omega is the complete submissive to
So
both.
there is a
Um,
hierarchy of like status, or
there is a hierarchy of status. And that also goes into more of like people who are part of pup packs.
Oh,
where it's kind of like a wolf pack or something like that. There's pup packs, people who are in a relationship, they're all pups, and they have that relationship dynamic. But in general sense, pups and handlers. Handlers would be more of the dominant master, the one who's in control of the pup, and the pup is the submissive one. And
that's
I
but
guess the whole idea is to like kind of continually just have that kind of power play, and it's very very playful kind of power play, where you're basically like a handler trying to train a new puppy like in real
oh,
life.
okay. That's
So like it's kind of like that.
that's where the whole dynamic of like having somebody who's obedient and teaching them how to act, and that's kind of like the
Yeah,
power dynamic.
yeah,
Okay.
it's very similar to submissive and masters,
It has
subs and
like the
masters.
is that like
Very,
a lot of
it's kind of
themes?
offshoot.
Yeah, would you say there are a lot of like relationships to like the what is it? I don't I apologize if I'm misspeaking, but is it like kind of sadomaso kind of?
It's similar to that. So it's part of the BDSM community. I'm not 100% certain on actually how to like go through the acronym. It's like, um, there's the submissive, the sub, and then there's the master, and it's a very similar dynamic. It's entirely that dynamic, but it's just another form of it
I
because
saw this
like
I saw this one meme picture where they're at a dog park and it's a panel of like a dog owner and then his regular dog going and running through the dog park, and then it's the next panel with a dominatrix lady and she has a pup with a gag collar on running next to the dog. So funny.
yeah, yeah. I
And
think
she,
I've seen that one.
yeah, and she's got like a flog. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's part of that whole community. It's just again another form of it where like saying someone is a submissive slave, could mean something entirely different to someone who's a pup. It's the similar but different. I guess
So
it's kind of hard to describe because I'm
would you
not an expert in it.
Would you say as a kink culture, it's more attuned to like a sexuality kind of thing, or something to just explore in the sexual space? It's not necessarily as kind of even. I wouldn't even say it's as open or as the norm as like even furry culture goes.
Well, that's kind of hard to describe because in some ways, yes, it is a fetish, but in some ways, to some people, it's not. Um,
Mm,
which is kind of like how, even when it comes to fursuiting and mersuiting, some
that's a
people
really interesting parallel. Yeah.
to some people it's a lifestyle. It's just how they live their life. It's like, oh, I wake up every day, I'm a pup. I go to sleep, I'm a pup. I live with my handler, and I just do things from there. Some people it's like that. Some people it's only just like a fetish thing that they do every now and then. There's a gradient. There's a whole just gradient where it comes from. This
Yeah,
is just something I do to this is my life.
that's a
Kind of
really
like
good way of putting it. Like there's a spectrum of like how far you can go into the community or how very casual you could be with it. That's a really good point.
yeah, it's exactly like the furry fandom when it comes to certain things where like some people this is their life. Like this is all they wake up, they're furry, they do furry stuff,
Yeah, I talk with
and
my
then
fur friends on Telegram, and that's basically my life. And then I make art of it, and yeah.
yeah, and it's some people it's a complete livelihood, and
Pup.
that's kind of how I mean, not really to some people the pup community can actually give them a livelihood because you can make gear for them
Mm-hmm.
and sell it. Um, but it's also, it's just a thing to do. For me personally, it's just a thing for me to do.
That's how I
It's
felt
something.
kind of too. Yeah.
Um, I don't really see it as like a lifestyle for me. Um, but I certainly enjoy it,
And
and
even for I've heard like this can be kind of a touchy thing for cons too that I've talked about with some furs. Um, I mean, given it's probably based on the board's rules for their convention, so they have full
right.
rights and stuff. But how do you feel about like wearing pup hoods and stuff out on the con floor, or what's the perception like, or what kind of energy would you give off if you've seen that?
Personally, I think, pup hoods and cons, I think it's fine. I personally think it's okay.
Mm.
Um, Going out in nothing but a pup hood is not okay.
Yeah.
Um, because in that case, you might be taking something that it could be a scene, like a sexual scene, and
Yeah.
then you're forcing it on other people,
And I find the
which is
direction, yeah, I find the
really
direction for cons kind of being more geared towards family friendly, and you're seeing a lot more younger audiences join the
right.
community these days.
I'm one of those people that I think if you're wearing a pup hood, you're wearing a collar, and you're wearing clothing, that's fine.
Mhm.
Um, if you know that I think that's fine.
There's I find a
But
little
there's a line. There's a line that you can't cross, and if you
going.
cross that line, then it like looks bad on everyone. It's the same thing with like people walking around in mersuits. Like
Hmm.
if they're if someone's walking around in a mersuit and you clearly see that their genitals and all that, that's not okay.
Yeah,
You don't want a kid seeing that. I mean,
that's true.
obviously, it's one of those things.
Like kind of just be a little, a little tactful and be aware of your what kind of environment you're going to be suiting in or exposing yourself or other people to.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Again, it's the things are practically one and the same when it comes to certain stuff. And then obviously, if you want to do sexual stuff behind closed doors, whatever, that's fine.
Yeah, and there are
Just
plenty
as
of
long as everyone,
panels.
yeah, and just as long as everyone's consenting to it, that's all that matters.
Yep, I mean, I guess you could walk out butt naked with a butt plug fur tail or something.
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean, the whole argument of what I've seen, it frustrates me a little bit where people like I don't want to see pup hoods ever, but then you'll
yeah.
see someone in a fursuit head wearing fishnets and a skirt, and you're like, okay, but
Mm,
that's fine. But
yeah.
that's fine.
You get all these things that kind of crop up from like poodling or something to.
I think that whole poodling argument is completely stupid. By the way,
Yeah, I
the
agree with you
fact
there.
that I think it was one of the European cons banned it altogether. Like if you're not in like if you're exposed skin in fursuit, you'll get removed from like the con floor, and I thought that was the dumbest thing I've ever
Wait,
seen.
so that was actually perpetuated by the staff. That wasn't some sort of just random drama generated.
No, that was created by the staff and the people who were running the
Huh.
con.
That's
That
kind of
wasn't just
interesting.
that wasn't just, oh, you're not wearing a full suit, oh, you're not valid, oh, you're showing skin, you're not valid. No, it was people actually getting removed from the con space because they were showing skin, and I think that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen
Yeah, because
and even
not
heard of.
like because the thing is like not everybody can afford even a partial or let alone a full suit. So I don't
Right.
understand.
So why not just let people do what they want when it comes to that? It's like we're all human. Who cares about breaking the magic? We're
Yeah.
all people.
It's
Like
not
there's
yeah,
no magic there. We're just people like dressing up as animals and having fun. Why not let people do it the way they want to do? If they want to
because then
I don't know.
otherwise it seems like you're kind of putting on like a face like it's not Disneyland where you have people in costumes that are doing a job. It's just the way that people are just having fun.
Right, and it makes it seem that like the way someone enjoys being furry or fursuiting is not valid if they're not allowed to like if they have to be in full suit or not show any skin. It makes them seem like that their way of enjoying and portraying their character or even portraying themselves is not valid. I don't think that's cool.
How so like kind of coming in from your perspective, like how would you describe to somebody like what the community is about for you or what the fandom is if like what is being a furry to you or what is that lifestyle like?
This is how I've thought about this and how I felt about it. It's definitely very family like feeling. It feels like you're part of a family.
Yeah.
Like you meet people, you talk to people, and these people become your lifelong friends, and even sometimes become, your partner or they become like someone that you're so close to you can consider them your brother and actually become part of your family. Um, that's I don't know. It's that's how it's been for me. That's how I've always handled it. That's how it's always been. And some of my best friends are furries.
Yeah,
It's one of those things where being a furry can mean anything that you want to be, and a lot of people will say that, and it's true, because being a furry could mean that, oh, you dress up in a fursuit and go to cons. Being a furry could be, oh, I write short stories that involve anthro characters, or I draw art that involves anthro characters, and that's my primary means of money, or
yeah.
anything. It could just be being a furry could just be a thing that you just do and have fun with.
So it's like that. Yeah, it's like that thing you said before about it being a gradient. There's no real structure, but like you too. I have a lot of stuff in common with you, and it's kind of surprising at like how like the progression has been, because I too have my mate I would have not met otherwise outside of the fandom, and I don't think because I'm not even like a particular person to get into a lot of relationships and stuff, but having that sense of community or connection really solidified, like, hey, I'm really comfortable and I'm learning more about myself as I've gotten into the fandom and everything.
Yeah, and I don't think I'd be the same person now had I not joined the furry fandom.
Totally. Yeah.
I do not see myself being where I'm at. I don't see myself knowing the people, me being in the same situation that I'm in right now, if I hadn't been part of the fandom.
And like totally, would you say like that's in a much better place, and like it's only been positive? Yeah.
Yeah, I think my experience so far has been very positive. Then again, I don't broadcast me being furry everywhere.
That's it's always subtle pokes and puns.
Yeah, it's very subtle things, and it's I don't really talk to a whole lot of people about being furry other than people that I would consider very close friends.
And then you show up to work in fursuit.
Yeah, right. Like that one dude who was getting out of the army.
Oh, what happened?
Did you not see those meme pics?
You might have to refresh me.
Okay, so there was a dude who was getting out of the army. He showed up to his hail and farewell, in front of his entire command in a fursuit.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that's cool. Actually, I would love to see the pictures of that.
Yeah, I don't know where they are. I'd have to find it, but apparently this furry also is now making ice packs that people can wear under fursuits, and it's doing very well.
Ooh, like the easy cooldown vests?
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that was the guy. Nice.
I think that's the guy. That's what I've heard, but again, like seeing stuff on the internet versus actually, talking to the person is completely different.
Yeah.
You could say, I mean, hell, I could say that you invented those, and people are like, oh, wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, always fact check and actually, like, let it come from the horse's mouth. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I think it would be pretty funny if I showed up on ship one day with like my badge and everything, and everyone's like, oh, who are you? I'm like, oh, it's me, it's Cole. I'm like, what?
Did you plan on getting a fursuit actually of one of your sonas or transformations?
I want to get a fursuit so bad. I just don't know who to commission for one. And I mean, there's other things in my life that I want to actually buy and take care of first.
Yes.
Before I even invest in that.
Yeah,
I want to take it in steps. And obviously, I don't want to be one of those people. I'm like, oh, I don't have any food money, but I got a fursuit.
Yeah, you can't really eat that.
No, you can't.
I would say that, yeah, as a person who I did save up money. Yeah, especially to younger furs, I do want to say, if you really think that like being a part of the fandom to you personally is having a suit or a partial, you could even make the suit. You could look at other tutorials and stuff on YouTube.
Right.
There's just a lot of helpful information out there, and if you really want to commission somebody that you really love their style, go for it. Like, save up money, get a side job, heck, even start art or something you can do to generate some kind of savings, because it's really a matter of like how much dedication and energy you want to put into it.
Right, and it's one of those things where, again, like, it wouldn't be financially responsible for me to go ahead and just, even though I have the money for it right now, it would not be smart for me to go ahead and just drop like 5K on a suit and be like, yep,
Oof.
that's it.
Yeah, and then you're gonna be waiting too for like for the turnaround time, maybe a year, and you won't see anything yet.
Right,
Um,
and it's one of those things where eventually I will, but there's other things that I want to take care of first too.
Time and place. Yeah, that's super
Yep,
fair. And like,
I gotta get more tattoos. I just have to get more tattoos.
are you gonna
That
get? I'm curious because you're super big into flowers and you're super big into like your sailor tats.
mm-hmm.
And I remember a couple of stories you gave me like about you have a pig one,
Yep, a
I
pig and
believe.
rooster on my feet.
Yes. And so are you gonna get any tats of anything furry or Sona related?
The only thing that I can foresee myself getting as like a quote unquote furry tattoo is I eventually want to get my persona's skull
Ooh.
tattooed with like some flowers behind it, with the horns and the eyes there, and that's what I want to get. I actually have a commission very similar to what I want, but it's not exactly what I want. Let's see. So, I could actually send it to you later. But my next thing that I want to get probably would just be more flowers, because actually no, wait, I think I'm gonna get like some bees, get some insects
Oh, I'm
on my arm.
curious. How does the tattoo commission process kind of work? Because I don't have any ink or anything at all. Do you just can you even get like a furry artist to get a design for you, and then you just show that to a tattoo artist, or does the tattoo artist have to have a certain skill?
It's a little bit of all of that actually. Hell, you can go to tattoo artists who are furries nowadays.
I guess that'd be
Done.
better actually. Yeah.
Um, but I've seen people do it. Um, a lot of it comes with research. So a lot of tattoo artists, you know, that at least I would go to,
Mm-hmm.
they've been doing this for a while. They know what they're doing. Design wise, I just tell them what I want. Very similar to actually commissioning just a regular like artist. Tell them what you want: colors, style, shape, size, whatever. Um, and then just have them do it.
So it's kind of
Um,
so again, it's kind of like when you're first starting off commissioning somebody, you have this general kind of idea and feeling that you want to go for, so then they're gonna work with you to kind of flesh that out.
yeah, that's kind of like what happens. I let's see. Um, a lot of the time, um, yeah, that's actually exactly how it goes. Basically, I kind of lost my train of thought.
No, that's
Um,
cool. There's just a lot going on right now, and like I'm also glad that you can make time for this too, because it was stressful. I'm gonna be honest, and I'm so glad
yeah.
I've had like an hour to kind of just sit and talk with somebody. It's
Oh
been really
yeah.
chill.
That
Um,
I'm glad to help out with that.
yeah, thanks. And so where do you see like? I mean, there's a lot still going on. It's not gonna end anytime soon, but
Right.
for yourself and the community and like what you're gonna do in the fandom, what are your kind of overarching plans, or what's the vibe you're going into late 2020 with?
Um, right now, all I really want to do is probably just commission more artists. Um,
I'm
I want to
biased,
hang
so I'll
out.
say yes.
Um, especially you. I want to give you some
Oh,
money.
well, oh,
You can
thank
draw
you.
some. I
I
keep telling you
appreciate
that I
that.
want to throw money at you, but you probably just think I'm just wanting you to strip or something. But
No,
nah.
no, no. Well, I always took that as a compliment anyway. But
But no, I genuinely enjoy your commissions, and I think you
ah,
got a really good
thank you,
style.
Lewis. Thank you. It
Um,
means a lot because actually, just not to talk too much about myself, but there was, I have a couple of projects going on with Patreon and whatnot, and then starting
mhm.
my comic, and I'm not sure if I've ever forwarded or shared to you the comic I started.
I kind of saw a little bit of it on Twitter.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got a little bit of like size diff going on, a little bit of light BDSM themes and stuff. So I'm gonna really try and bring it whole, yeah, whole
All
circle.
really good choice stuff right there.
Thank you.
But yeah, no. Currently, my plans are right now
Mhm.
is just kind of. I don't really have any plans for doing stuff with the fandom. I mean, I want to go to some of the local meets because I'm living in San Diego.
Yeah.
I want to go, to some of the local meets, meet some of the local people, seeing if we can, get something similar to what I had back in Hawaii. Because like back in Hawaii, man, those meets were awesome, and it kind of felt very, very like much like a family whenever you
That's
would like hang out with people, and I kind of want to get that back because I miss it.
that's super
You know?
important because yeah, being so big on community and close and togetherness, I think Hawaii does have that kind of niche where people here, even with military coming and going, the locals
Mhm.
here, no matter what, are very tight knit, and that's what I really like.
Exactly, and I absolutely adored that because it was excellent for my very first like actual community setup and like
Mm-hmm.
feeling because I've always had like loving love having like kind of more of a small family feel, and out there, I mean, that's all you got.
Yes.
Like you can't like I mean, here if I wanted to go meet someone that's a furry in California, I could drive to go meet them. There, you can't really do that. Like you can't just drive to another island. I could drive to another state if I wanted to go to a fur
Take a
meet
boat.
in another state. Yeah,
Yeah.
you would have to like take a plane, and that's obviously a little hard to do.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where like that community was so close and tight knit because that's what you had, and I adored it. It was honestly my favorite thing.
Well, if you ever come back to visit, everybody's still here. So,
I want to.
oh,
I
dude, that'd be awesome. I'd love to
I
hang out. It's been so long.
Yeah, I'd actually love to go back. Um, if like I was thinking like if BLFC doesn't work out, eventually like going and hanging out in Hawaii would be nice because it'd be a nice little vacation for
Yes,
myself. I would get to go bring my husband, of course, to Hawaii.
that does sound lovely.
We would be able to go like somewhat honeymoon, basically.
Yeah, and then go island hopping maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go island hopping, and that would be fun. And
and you gotta substitute something with all the cancellations anyway.
right, so if one thing doesn't work out, I'll do something else. But it's one of those things where I'm not like super like worried. Um, and I'm just gonna play things year by year and have fun. And eventually, I'm going back. Like I have to. I
Yeah,
miss it so
okay.
much.
Well, at least probably be here with Blarg maybe for the next decade.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
He's a little unsure. I don't know, but okay. So thanks for having a nice. Wow, it's been a good hour. That went by pretty fast. Thank you for making
It
time, Lewis,
did.
for on
Yeah.
episode 10. We're finally in the double digits, guys, of TreeBark. I'm
Yeah.
so happy.
I'm honored that you even had me come on.
Yay! And
So
yeah,
thank
and
you.
by all means, I always extend the invitation if you ever like to come on in the future. I would love to catch up some more.
Oh, of
Um,
course.
So I don't know if you have any last plugs. I always want to give people a little bit of spotlight right now to talk about anything that they like to share or talk to their friends or family. What's up?
I don't really have anything to plug. I just want to say if you're a furry out there and you're not commissioning smaller artists and you're only going for big artists, you're doing something wrong. Have fun.
Yes,
Be
I couldn't
safe.
agree more. Yeah, and everybody, please take care with your friends and family in these
Yep.
trying times. Hope you guys are all doing really well, and thanks for joining us on TreeBark. And a big shout out to my Patreon supporters, starting with the patron pups, Ben Campbell and Tyler Green. Thank you to my good boy supporters, Howler, and a huge shout out to my top dog supporters, Blarg, MN, Moody, Damon, Ferris, Artorius Nightwalker, and Ella Ryra. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting my content, and if you'd like to see more, follow my Patreon or my Twitter, all at Shikokubo, Shikokubo. Thank you very much, and have a good day.